Okay, friends. So, welcome to the 3ds Max online training program at Psyched Center. And before we start our session, I want to tell you something that please try to keep yourself mute so we do not have any voice disturbance during our session. See, if you have any question, if you have any query or any problem, then you can unmute yourself and immediately inform me you are not able to view my screen or my voice is not audible, so immediately inform me. Okay, and if you don't have any question, then please mute yourself. So our session may do not in our session we do not have any kind of disturbance. And yes, one more facility we have, you can use this chat box and you can send message to me. I will check this chat box frequently at every 5 or 10 minutes. So if you have any question, then you can ask me over there. Yes, 2016 is okay. So here we are going to start our session. So welcome to 3ds Max online training program at Psyched Center. First of all, I want to introduce you myself. My name is Setu Nandania and I am Autodesk certified instructor. So if you have any queries, then you can contact me, you can ask me, right? Before we continue, I want to tell you something about Psyched Center. So Psyched Center is one of the Autodesk PTC and Dassault authorized training center located in India. We have around 40 plus branches in all over India, and since last 13 years we are working in this field, and we are providing corporate training, software training, and CAD solution for the mechanical, civil, architecture, and automobile peoples. Right? Please mute yourself. Okay, I have mute you all. So if you want to ask anything, then please unmute, then ask. Okay, and then let me discuss about 3ds Max. So 3ds Max is a product of Autodesk. So Autodesk 3ds Max, and the original name of this software is 3D Studio Max, the full name of this software. And it's a computer graphics program to make animation, models, and images, right? So this software is developed by Autodesk Media and Entertainment division. See, Autodesk have many division: civil, mechanical, architecture, gaming, and entertainment, right? So from this software is developed by Autodesk Media and Entertainment department. This software is very capable and flexible in plugins in for the architecture purpose also. So you can use many types of plugins. You will find many types of plugins. Plugins means additional programs, additional things that you attach with your software. So one very well known plugin for this software is V-Ray. I hope you all know about that. You can attach V-Ray with the 3ds Max. So 3D V-Ray is one of the plugin. So like V-Ray, we have many types of plugins for the 3ds Max to do different types of work. So this is very flexible and very enhanced software developed by the Autodesk. This software is frequently used by game departments, many TV commercial studios, and also by architectures for the visualization. Right here, we have some modules that Scikit Center offers with the 3ds Max. First, we have modeling. So, with the help of modeling, you can create your model or you can modify your existing model. In the modeling, we are having many types of different tools. We will discuss some of them in our session. Then we have clothing. So clothing is again a very powerful tool. You can create your curtain system, table clothing, flags, and other things with the help of clothing, pillow, bed sheet, and all. So it provides you a realistic room interior with the clothing. Then we have texturing. Texturing means your materials. So you can create a realistic material with a proper effects like reflectivity, bump effect, right? So these are the effects that you need to control for your model. Then next we have lighting. In the lighting, we have many types of lightings like standard lights. In the standard light, we have omni light, omni lights, then fox light and direct light. Then we have a volume effect, lens effect. So that are the effects. So I have one example over here for the volume effect. It's a very light example. Just a minute, I'm going to annotate that in the PPT. So focus over here. See, in this area of the lighting, you will get a shadow of the light. See, we have a shadow of the light. So that is due to volume effect. So this software is very powerful and capable enough to create that type of lighting effect over here. Then next we have rendering and animations. So in the rendering, we are going to discuss about rendering settings, how to set your camera settings and render settings, your pixel counts and all. And in the animation, we are going to discuss about how to animate our camera to create a walkthrough animation and video animation, and also a animation of the products like moving car, moving humans, opening door, and all. Then we have dynamic effect in our syllabus. So with the help of dynamic effect, you can generate your particle systems like rainfall, snowfall, fountain animation, then fire animation, blast animation, television. So this type of animations you can create with the help of dynamic effects. So these are the course content that we offer at Scikit Center in the 3ds Max. So now let we continue our session with the software. So I'm going to share my software screen to you. I hope this screen is visible for you. Please confirm it once.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is our 3ds Max layout, right? You will find this type of layout or UI in the 3ds Max. We have a multiple screen over here, and on the top we have a 3ds Max logo. Then we have new, open, save, undo, redo. So these are the options, and this panel is known as quick access toolbar. Someone is saying that I can't see, so please confirm it again that you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
I have shared my 3ds Max screen. Okay. So it's visible. It's maybe your network connection is slow. That's why. Okay, no problem. Fine. So on the top we have a quick access toolbar, and in the center we have a name of our software, that is Autodesk 3ds Max, and our file name. Whatever we are going to save our file, our name will be written over here. Then next we have sign in option, and also search box will be there. Then on the bottom we have a menu bar. So in this menu bar you will find almost all types of things that we need in 3ds Max. So this is our menu bar. Then we have tools. So this one is our toolbar. Some tiny tools, some frequently used tools are over here, like undo, redo, bind links. Then selection tool we have, then translation tools we have, transformation tools, move, rotate, scale we have. Then also mirror and other tools for the rendering. And on the bottom we have over 4 different viewports. So these are our viewports, and we will use this viewport to create our model. Okay. And the bottom we have a track bar. So this is our track bar, and this software is work on frame by frame manner. So whenever you are going to create any video, so you need to decide that how many frames you want to keep in your 1 second, right? So frames per second, fps rate you need to decide. Generally we are using 30 fps in the current days, and for the telecast purpose they are using 25.4 frames per second, or 24 frames per second. But generally whenever we are shooting a video in our mobile phone, that phone is capturing 30 fps speed, right? So we are capturing 30 images, we are viewing 30 images per second. So this 30 frames up to this point, this is our 1 second, and again 30, that means up to 60 we have 2 second, and on 90 we have 3 second. So we can create from 0 to 90 frames, so we will have a 3 second video, right? And then on the bottom we have coordinates xyz, so you can view your position, then grid settings, and also some key for the animation. And on the right side we have control for the play button and animation control, and we have camera animation tools over here, right? So these are the camera animation tools. On the left side here we have a creation panel, where you will find almost all types of options that we will use for the modeling purpose and for the animation purpose. For lighting and modeling purpose you will find all types of tools over here. See, we have create, modify, hierarchy, and motion and display options we have. And in the create we have geometry, shapes, lightings, camera, and all, right? So these are our creation tools. So I hope up to this point it is clear. Okay, now we will continue our session with grid setting and unit setting. So to set your grid and units, you can, for the unit you can go to the customize menu, and over here you will find unit setup, right? So click on the unit setup, and from here you can choose which type of unit you want to prefer. For example, I want a metric meters or centimeter or millimeter, that you can choose from here. For example, we want to use feet and fractional inches, so click on the US standard. So now you can use feet and inches over here, or only fractional inches, only decimal inches we have, fractional feet we have. So let me go with the feet and fractional inches and hit OK. So in this way you can set your unit. So this is our first task. From where you can set, go to the customize, and here you will find your unit setup, right? Now grid setting. Yes, I can repeat it for you. For the unit setting, go to the customize menu, then click on the unit setup. And from here you can choose your unit. For example, in the metric, you will get the metric system. That means millimeter, centimeter, meter. So these are the unit in the matrix. And if you go with the US standard, then you will get feet and inches, right? And these are the format, in which format you want to provide the values. Your default unit is feet. That means whatever value we are typing randomly will be considered in feet. If you choose your default unit inches, that means your whatever value we are typing will be considered as inches without symboled value. Okay, then hit OK. So this is our unit setting, and then let me discuss our grid setting. So go to the tools, and here you will find grid and snaps. Again, go to the tool menu, and here you will find grid and snap option. In the grid and snap option, we have grid and snap setting. So click on this, and you will get one dialog box like this. So we have snap setting, we have option, and also we have home grid setting. So click on home grid, and from here you can define your grid spacing. For example, I want to define my grid spacing 1 feet. So type over here 1 feet. Then how many lines you want, measure lines at every interval, and in the perspective view, how many extension lines you want. Hello, I am audible properly? Okay, okay, okay. So here you can set your grid. Over here we have changed our grid spacing to 1 feet. That means this small division is 1 feet, right? And we have perspective, in our perspective view we have total 7 count in each direction. So from the center, if you are going to count your grid size, so see from this center, on the x positive we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 division. Similarly on the negative side we have 7 division on the positive y and negative y. So total 14 by 14 divisions are there in your perspective view. Let me change this to the 10. So what will happen again? As you change it to the 10, so now in your perspective view you have a 10 division in each direction. In positive x you have 10 division, in negative x you have 10 division, positive y you have 10 division, and negative y you have 10 division. So total grid is 20 by 20 divisions, right? So this is for the perspective view setting only, and this is for the orthographic setting. Click on close. Your orthographic grid will be your infinite grid. See, this is our infinite grid. Okay. Can you please repeat, sir? Okay. So for the grid setting, you have to go to the tools. Here we have grid and snap setting. So go to the grid and snap setting and then go to the home grid. And here you have to decide the grid spacing, then a measure line, at which division you want to place your measure line, and for the perspective view how many divisions you want. Let's say 5. So you will get only 5 divisions in your perspective view like this, right? So this is our grid setting. Okay, next we are going to discuss our standard primitives. But before we discuss our standard primitives, I want to discuss our mouse control. So I have created one, here we are going to create one object, and we will discuss that later, how we can create and how we can manage and we can modify it. Okay, so first of all, how to maximize this viewport. To maximize this viewport, we have two options. Either you can use this bottom left object. This is maximize viewport toggle option we have on the bottom right corner. See this one, maximize viewport toggle. Okay, so as you click on this, your viewport will be maximized. Again click on this, your 4 viewport will be again appears. And shortcut for that is Alt plus W. So press Alt key and W key at a time and you will get your maximize viewport. Again Alt plus W and you will get your minimize viewport, right? So in this way you can maximize and minimize your viewports. Now let me check our mouse controls. So first of all, press your middle mouse button and then you can pan your screen like this. Okay, you can translate your object, you can pan your screen like this. Just press your middle mouse button. When you scroll your middle mouse button upward, it will zoom in, and scroll your middle mouse button downwards, it will zoom out. Okay, so press your middle mouse button for the panning and scroll your middle mouse to zoom in and zoom out. Now to orbit this object, to rotate this object, to see the other side, you need to hold your Alt key from the keyboard. So hold your Alt key, then press middle mouse button, and then you are able to orbit your object, right? So it's a little different than other Autodesk product. In the Revit and in the AutoCAD, we are using Shift plus middle mouse button. But for the 3ds Max, you have to use Alt plus middle mouse button. So keep this thing in your mind. Okay, here we have our view cube. You can grab this view cube and also you can orbit your model. But to orbit from the screen, you have to press Alt plus your middle mouse button. Then click on this home button to get your perspective view again. Alt W to see the other views. Now over here we have 4 viewports. So are you all clear up to this point? Do you have any queries? So please note down these small things. Alt plus W for the zoom in and zoom out. Maximize and minimize your viewport. So these are the hotkeys that we are using frequently, right? So keep a pen and paper with you. We have one request that please tell a grid setting again. Okay, see, here we have our grid on the bottom, and to set your grid spacing, go to the tools, and here we have grid and snap, and click on the grid and snap setting. Okay, and from here you have to go to home grid, and then you can provide your values over here. Clear it is? In the other viewports, your grid will be infinite, and only in the perspective view you have limited grid option that you have to type over here. So whatever value, for example, I want 10 divisions. So in your perspective view, your grid will be limited, whatever value you have typed. But in your orthographic view, on the front view, on the top view, on the side view, you have infinite grid. Then close it. Okay. Now let we learn how to change this layout of the viewports. For example, I don't need this 4 viewport. I just want 2 viewport or 3 viewport. So how we can change that? So in the newer version, you will find that option over here, but I am using 2016 version. So you have to go to the menu bar. See, everything is there in the older version and in the newer version. Nothing is new and nothing is removed, but everything is there, but you have to go to some other places. Okay, so go to your menu bar, and here we have views menu. Click on views, and here we have viewport configuration. Click on viewport configuration. Click on the layout, and here we have different types of layout. For example, I only want a single screen, single viewport, then you can use this. For example, I want 2 viewport that is vertically divided like this. Whatever you views you can change. These are the top, this is the front, that you can change. Okay, so don't worry about this that you will get only top and front. You can change it. You can use this as a front, and you can use this as a isometric also. We have horizontal 2 division, we have a one bigger division and one smaller division, 2 viewport, the opposite one. Then we have 3 viewport arrangement over here, opposite 3 viewport arrangement. Then we have one more 4 viewport arrangement. So let me use this one. Click on apply and okay. So now we have one bigger screen to work and 3 smaller screen to view only. We can use this screen for the viewing purpose. Okay, you can set your camera view over here, you can set your orthographic view over here and some other view, and you can use this view for working purpose. So in this way you can change your viewport style. Again, go to the views, viewport configuration, and from here you can choose your viewport style. We have many types of styles over here. Let me take 3 division. Click on apply and okay. So here our screen is divided into 3 divisions, and let me maximize this viewport and minimize these 2 viewports. So over here we have top view, over here we have front view, and let me change this view to the isometric view. So just click on home button. This is our isometric view, right? Please join this session again if you have a problem with the audio. I hope all the other students have my voice clear. My voice is clear to all student. Okay. So please, one student have a problem. So you can rejoin this session. Just leave this call and again rejoin. So whatever problem for your side may be, network issue, so it will be solved automatically. Okay. So we discuss about unit setting, we discuss about grid setting, and also we discuss about viewport settings, right? Now let we discuss about the visual style. So visual style you will get for each and every viewport over here on the top left corner. Here we have wireframe. You can use realistic. So in the realistic mode, you will get your object with the material effect. How to set isometric view? Just click on your view cube home button. See, we have our view cube and click on this home button. You will get your perspective view, isometric view. This is our home button. Okay. You can place in each and every viewport isometric view, isometric view. So this is our realistic view. Then we have next option shaded. So in the shaded view, you will not get material effect. Right now we haven't applied any material. So we have a same effect, the realistic mode and in the shaded mode, right? For the realistic, we also have one hotkey, that is shift plus F3. So for example, let me go to the wireframe and let me try this hotkey. So press shift plus F3. Yes, we get the realistic mode automatically, right? For the active viewport, see, whatever viewport carrying this yellow line is your active viewport. For example, we are on this viewport and we press shift F3. So this viewport is converted into realistic view, right? So whatever things you are going to change is applied on your active viewport. So whatever viewport carrying this yellow line is your active viewport, and in this way you can change your visual style. This is our visual style that AutoCAD also provides us. We have wireframe, we have a clay option also. So this model is like a clay model, you can view it. Then we have some other styles like a graphite sketching style. Also we have color pencil options. This type of things you can use. These are just a visual style, right? This is not your final output. Ink we have. Also we have colored ink, acrylic option we have. So many options we have, but I generally prefer shaded and realistic mode. If you don't have a graphics card in your computer system, or your model is so much taking load on your computer system, then use this shaded mode. Whenever we are having a bigger model, then we will use shaded mode also. And also we have edged faces. So click on these edge faces and you will get edges over here. These edges are very important. We will discuss that how to set these edges. Okay. So I think up to this point we are ready to go for the standard primitives. Do you have any query up to this point?
Is not available.
Okay, clear it. No doubt. Okay. Just a minute. Okay friends, so now we are going to discuss how to create objects. Okay, here we have wireframe mode. Here let me change our mode to the other types. Let's say bounding box. It's almost same with the wireframe. And the hidden line mode, see, this is our hidden light view. Okay, so now we are going to create objects using realistic mode. Is not visible available in 2020. No, it is available. It is available over there, because without realistic mode you are not able to do anything. Just click the hotkey shift plus F3 and you will get your realistic mode. Shortkeys will never change. Okay,
I call it is right for this.
so now let me create our objects. So here we have a box, and go to the create. In the geometry, click on the standard primitives. So these are the tools that you can create without any default shading. Realistic, yes. Name may change, they may change their name. So here we have a standard primitives objects. First we have box. So how to create this box? So see, in the 3ds max environment you have to focus on your mouse clicks. Okay, so first you need to press your first mouse button, then you need to drag over here. Don't leave your first click. You have to drag your mouse and then leave over here, and then provide a height and click again. So we have two clicks. First click, then drag, then leave your mouse button, and then provide height and again click. So in this way you can create your box. You need to drag first. Okay, so don't let your first mouse click. You need to press your first mouse click and you need to drag it, and then we have next cone option. So in the cone our base will be circle. So see, first we need to drag, place your center, then drag and create one circle. You need to drag it. Then I'm going to leave my first mouse click over here. So this circle is finished, and then we are taking a height, right? So here I'm going to click again. So this is my third click, and then go to left or right. So this is our cone. So we have to provide 4 clicks over here. First click, then drag, then leave, then the height and the top radius. We will discuss each and every options twice in our session, so you will clear. See, next we have sphere. So it's like a ball, you just need to drag, right? Then next we have geosphere. It is also like a ball. So you might have question that what is the difference between these both, right? But if you check these other viewports, then you will definitely get the difference in the wireframe mode, in the hidden mode. So see, the internal structure of both the sphere are different, right? So that's the difference between sphere and geosphere. We will discuss that. First of all, we will finish these tools. There are very simple tools we have. Cylinder. So first drag and create one circle, then height and finished. Then we have tube. So again for the tube, drag, create a bigger circle, then create one smaller circle, and then height. So this is our tube. Then we have torus. So here we have to create a bigger circle, then a smaller circle. So this is our torus, or we can say a tube. Okay. Then we have pyramid. So in the pyramid you will get a square and a height at a point. So this is our pyramid, and you will only get four sided pyramid only. Okay, you are not able to create a pentagon over here, but we have option for that. I will show you each and every option in detail. Then next we have a teapot. So here it is, just you need to drag it and you can create one nice teapot. And last we have one plane over here. So you can simply just create one plane. So these are the objects we have in our standard primitives. So clear up to this point? See the other viewports. So you will get all these objects in the different visual style. Okay. Just give me 1 minute and I will be back. Okay. Yes, we can edit thickness of the plane and all. Just a minute and we will discuss each of these tools in detail. Okay. Okay, friends. So now let me maximize our screen. I hope I'm audible. So press Alt W and we will work only on single screen now. Okay. And select it and delete all the object. And now let we have first of all box. Where should I put this chat box? You can leave it over here. Okay, first of all, okay, no problem. You will get this video in our YouTube channel. Okay. Uh, till tomorrow, you will get our entire session on our YouTube channel also. So don't worry about that thing. If you have a poor, slow network connection and you miss any point, then you can ask me. I will repeat also. And we are also going to share this entire session to the YouTube in our channel. Okay. So don't worry about that. But please attend this session also. Okay. Don't leave. because many students thinks that I will learn it later and I will see it from the YouTube, but they are not, they are just planning. They are actually not using their time for the learning purpose. So whatever you will learn from here will be yours. Okay, so let me start with the box. And here, first point, then drag, and second point, and then height. So this is our box. But how to provide the dimensions? As you all know that we have changed our units to the feet and inches, right? So in the parameter, as you create your object, over here you will get your parameters option. And from here you can provide the length, let's say 5 feet, tab width 4 feet, tab height 3 feet. Okay, so this is our proper object. You can provide the dimensions like this. We have no other options for the dimensioning, so you have to provide your dimensions over here. Then we have segment. See, length segment, width segment, and height segment. For the segment, let we change our visual style with realistic and edged faces. So now you can see the edges. See, these are the white edges we have on the object. And now I'm going to change the length segment. See, 2. So you will get one segment over here, one line over here, right? So this is our mesh model actually in the 3ds Max. And whatever segment you want to add, for example 3, 4, 5. So in this way you can add your length segment, similarly width segment, and your height segment. So in this way your object will be created. See, these are the divisions, these are the elements. Segments are must necessary for the animation and for the flexibility purpose. For example, this is my eraser, this is my rubber, and I want to animate it like a rubber. So for that we need some flexibilities, right? And for the flexibility we need a divisions over here. For example, let me give you one example. For example, I want to bend this object. Okay, so I'm just choosing a bend operation from the modify panel. We will discuss this session in our next classes, but I am just giving you one example. So see, we are able to bend this. Okay, let me change our bend direction to y. See, we are able to bend this thing. Why? Because we have segments over here, we have divisions over here. For example, we don't have any divisions, we have only uh, only we have a single segment over here. For example, length segment, let's say a 1, width segment, let's say 1, and height segment also 1. So see, due to this bend defect you will not get that bend edges. See this, we actually want this type of bending over here, but we are getting a straight edge because we are not having any segments or divisions over here. So that's why these segments are important. As I increase this segment, the smoothness of my shape will be increased, right? So that's why divisions and segments are important. Okay, now let we remove this band tool. We will discuss this band and other tools in our next class. That's this will not cover in today's class. Okay, So how to provide dimensions and how to change the segments? Just select your object and then go to the modify, and here you will get your parameters, your length, width, height, then length segment, let's say 5, width segment 5, and height segment. Okay, but one more thing, if you don't need any types of segment, for example you are not going to change this object or you are not going to use the flexibility of this object, then try to create a simple object. As many segments you are going to increase, your system will take that much load. So never increase unnecessary segments over here. Okay, for example we don't need any segment right now, so select that and type 1 segments, because we don't need segments right now for this object. Okay, so in this way you can create your box, you can provide the dimensions and other things. Your length will be your x direction value, your width will be your y direction value, and height will be your z direction value. Okay. Now again go to create. Next we will discuss this cylinder. So for the cylinder we have to create one circle, so drag and create a circle, then height. So due to this edge option we have activated over here realistic plus edge faces. Okay, so we are able to see these edges. So how we can generate this much smooth section over here? So let me select this and go to the modify, and here we have radius. So let's say 2 feet radius we want, then height 5 feet height we want, and then we have height segment over here. See, so in the height direction how many segments you want? Let's say 3 segment. Okay, so you will get a 3 segment over here. Then next we have a cup segment. So what is cup segment? So in the cylinder you will have a circular disc on the top and bottom. So these are the segment for these top disc and bottom disc. So that is known as cup segment. So as you increase, your inner loop will be increased. See, 3, 4. So your this cup segment will increase. Then we have side segment. So in how many divisions you want to divide this circle? Let's say I want to divide this circle into 4 divisions. Okay, so you will get only 4 division of that circle. Let's say 5 sides, 6, 7, 8. So as many sides you increase, your circle will be that much smoother. Okay, but as I told you, it will take much time in your rendering and also consumes much power in your modeling for the so that's why we cannot use this much segments. Okay, so let me decrease these segments. For example, minimum we have 3 segments, then 4, 5, 6, okay, 7. So let me take only 6 segment. Now focus over here. To render this scene, I want to create one image. So I'm just going to render setup. So go to the rendering, render setup, and make sure your default scanline render is active over here. Okay, default scanline. If you have other version, then your setting will be like that. But make sure your image quality is lower, and then everything is fine. Okay, Now press Shift plus Q and you will get one rendered image. Okay, what you have to press? Shift and Q. Shift Q and you will get a render image. Okay, now here we have some options. See, I have provided only 6 segments over here, so we have a quite sharp edge over here. This is our sharp edge, right? But in our image, see, for example, I am taking image, so we are not getting any sharp edge over here. Are you getting any sharp edge over here? No, we have a smooth edge. See, if we visualize like this, we cannot assume, we cannot judge that we have edge over here. So we have again two options in this modification. We have over here smooth option. Right now it is on. Let me off this option and now render this object. So this time you will get a completely sharp edge like it's a polygonal object. So I don't have rendering option. Don't worry, press Shift plus Q. Your scene will be rendered. Okay. So when you have a smooth option, your object will be smoothened. Your edges will not be there in the rendering. And once you turn off this smooth option, your object will rendered as it is. Right? So now we can increase this number of segment up to, let's say, 15 or 16. These are the enough. But if you rendered like this, you will get these edges. See, these are the edges we have. But as you turn on this smooth option, your edges will automatically remove and your face will be like a complete cylinder. Right? Just focus on this point. Don't focus on these edges. Okay, otherwise you will get the things. So in this way, with a lower segments, with a lower divisions, we can also achieve a smooth result where we will get the rendered image. Your rendered image will not going to save right now. You have to just view. Okay, Shift plus Q and your rendered image will be in front of you. This is your rendered image. But I haven't show you the option how to save this file. That we will discuss on the last lecture. It's a quite long journey for us. Okay, so just render it and check it. That's it. So this is the smooth option that I have explained you. Clear now? Now if you know about revolve feature, then again this cylinder is a revolving object. Okay, so you can turn on this slice option we have and then your start angle and you can create a slice of the cylinder. See, you can provide the value from here. Okay, so how much slice you want? Let's say minus 90 degree. So we have this much portion only available. So these are the options we have in the cylinder. Okay, you can set your height segment, your cup segment and your sides, and also we have smooth option and slice option because this is our revolving object. Now let me jump on the next we have cone. Cone is almost similar with the cylinder, but in the cone you will get the top radius also. Okay, so drag and create a circle, then height, and again the fourth click for the top radius. You can create a sharp also and just leave it. Okay, press escape, select it, go to the modify, and here you will get two radiuses. One is your bottom radius, let's say 2 feet, and one is your top radius. If you want to make it 0, you will get a sharp point on the top. And if you want to keep some value over here, let's say 6 inches, so you will get a circle over there. Okay, then rest options are same as cylinder. We have height segment over here. We have cup segment means your circular geometry segment. So these are our cup segment, you can increase. Okay, and side segments. So for example, you want to create a triangular cone, and you can use these 3 sides, 4 sides pyramid, 5 sides pentagonal cone, and 6 sides, right? So you can use to create this type of polygonal pyramid also. And as you increase the number of side up to uh, 17 or 18 or 20, then you will get a perfect circular geometry. Just turn on this smooth option. Okay, so when you render this, you will get a smooth edge over here. If you turn off this, then you will get the edges like this. Now again we have a slice option for this cone object also, because it's also a revolving object. So turn on this slice and provide a slice value starting and ending, and you will get a piece of that object. Clear? Then next we have sphere and geosphere. Now see, in the sphere, let we take a sphere over here. So just drag it and you will get a sphere over here. And it's a quite simple geometry. See, it's like a atlas, our earth, right? We have longitude and latitude over here. So actually this lines is also known as longitude and latitude, okay, in the software also. So just press escape, select it, and go to the modify, and here you can define your diameter, then number of segments. As you decrease number of segments, your both segment will decrease automatically. Your vertical segments and your horizontal segment, both segment will decrease simultaneously. So this is like our Aryabhat satellite, right? So as you increase this segment, you will get a sphere shape. Nothing else we have over here. We have smooth option. If you turn off, you will get like a crystal object. And if you turn on this smooth, then you will get a smooth ball like this, smooth sphere. And then we have hemisphere option. This is a quite useful option. With the help of hemisphere, you can slice your sphere into half or into quadrant like this. So here you have to enter from 0 to 1. Your value is from 0 to 1. 1 means completely vanished. 0.5 means you will get half sphere. 0.25 means 25% portion will be sliced. 0.75 means your 75% portion will be sliced. So this is our hemisphere. And also we have one option over here. See, on the bottom we have base to pivot. That means what is our base and what is our pivot. So every object have their own coordinate system. See, When I select this, it has their XYZ over here. As you can see this one XYZ. When I select this, it has its own XYZ. When I select this, it has its own XYZ. Okay, so this is our pivot point. So similarly for this sphere, its pivot point is at center. So this is the center of sphere. Okay, and we have one option. If you want to keep your base point right at the bottom of your hemisphere, so for that, just turn on this base to pivot option. So your ball will be drop on the surface. Means your pivot point will be right over here. So in this case, sometimes we are creating some animations like water drops and all. So what will happen? Our water drops is going to vanish as it reaches the surface. So you can use this type of thing, like we have a full drop of water, then as it goes vanish like this. So this is our tiny animation. Okay, so you can use this base to pivot option to lower your pivot point at the bottom. If you turn off, your pivot point will be at center. And also we have slice option. So for example, I want to use this sphere to create a watermelon slice or a apple slice, that you can create and create a fruit salad. So there are many options how to use this for our model. Okay, clear for this sphere? Now let me go with the hemisphere option. Sorry, geosphere. So in the geosphere, click on the geosphere and create one. So your segment arrangement is different. Please repeat the case to pivot option. It's not case to pivot, it's a base to pivot, and it's just a option. Let me explain you. See, initially our pivot point is at center, right? Go to the modify and just click on this base to pivot. So your pivot point will be on the bottom of your object. Clear? It will always remain on the bottom of your object when you choose this base to pivot. And this option is only available in this sphere option. Okay, so don't try to find it in each and every options. We have this option only in the sphere. So that's why it looks like it's going deep inside, because our base point will remain always at bottom. Now let me discuss this geosphere. So as you all can see, we have a different mesh arrangement over here in this sphere, right? Or here we have square element, and here we have triangular element like a football. That in the football we have a hexagonal element, but it's just like a football. Okay, so for this we have a very tiny options. So just go to the select and go to the modify. Here we have a radius, let's say 2 feet. Then number of segments. Over here again the all segments will be decrease and increase. So this type of shape we have in the one segment. you can turn off this smooth option, and in the render your this object will look like a crystal. So you can use this for the decoration purpose in your interior design. Okay, so you need to keep this all thing in your mind, that this type of thing I can use in my model. Okay, and it will look pretty, it will look good. You can apply a glass material or a diamond material, so it will reflect very well, and you will get a stunning effect with this shape. Two segments, three segments, four segments. So as you increase the number of segments, your divisions will be like this. And here we have three different options: tetra, octa, and iso. So in the tetra, your object will be in triangular form. So let me show you from the top. So from the top, as you all can see, we are in tetra mode, and from this center we have a triangle over here. That means triangle means tetra. Then with you go if you go with the octa, you will get square. See, we have a square. Then in the iso, you will get pentagon. So these three options we have in these shapes, right? And also we have smooth option. If you go with the hemisphere in this sphere, then it will automatically cut in half. Okay, you will not get the that much settings like geos this sphere. Okay, you will directly get the half sphere. And also we have base to pivot option. So if you want to put it at bottom or put it at center. Then next we have we discuss box, cone, sphere, geosphere, cylinder. Then we have tube. So tube is also similar with the cylinder, but we have two circle over here. So drag a bigger circle, then a smaller circle, and then height. So this is our tube, and you will get all the same option like a cylinder. So go to the modify. Here we have radius 1 and radius 2, then height. So you can change your height. Then height segment, then we have cup segment. As you increase your cup segment, your thickness will be divided. Okay, so like this. Also we have side segment. So for example, you want a square or triangular or pentagon, so you can decrease and increase this side segment. Similarly, we have a smooth option for the rendering purpose, and slice option. So if you want only 180-degree portion, this much portion I want. Okay, so you can create a slice also. So these are the options we have in the tube. Then next we have torus. So torus means it's like your um, vehicle tube, like a air tube. Okay, so you have to create a bigger circle and a smaller circle. Let me show you this in a wireframe mode so you will get exact idea. So we have a circular cross section over here, and it's a bigger circle and a smaller circle in a sweep mode. Okay, in this way you will get a torus. Again realistic. Now next we have parameters. So go to the modify, and here we have radius 1, radius 2. Let me decrease little bit the second radius. Okay, and then we have rotation option and twist option. We will discuss this both option later. Okay, so right now just skip it. Then we have segments. So let me decrease this segment. So this is your bigger circle segment. This segment is for this big circle. Okay, so how many divisions you want over there? Let's say I want 6 division. So this is our benzene. Then the second segment's sides are for division of your circle, this cross sectional circle. So as I decrease that, you will get a triangular, pentagon, hexagonal shape over here. So see, we have triangular shape, and as I increase, it will increase. But for that, to explain you properly, let me increase slice option first. So turn on this slice and you will get a slice like this. Okay, so now you will get my point properly. So this segment is for the bigger circle and the sides is for this smaller circle. Let me take 4 sides. Now let me discuss these options, rotation and twist. Okay, so rotation means if you have very small segments over here, so we are getting a diamond shape, but I want to rotate it 45-degree. I want a square tube. Okay, so just in the rotation provide some value. So with the help of rotation you can rotate like this. See, clear? So you can rotate your cross section. System is taking too much load. Let me remove the other objects first. So it may consume less power. Torus, slice on, and these are the divisions we have. Let me turn off this grid and just press G in your keyboard to turn off and turn on this grid. Okay, so you have to press just G in your keyboard. Now this is our rotation. Like this you can rotate your object. See, okay, you can rotate your cross section. But once you have a circular profile, then this will be not that much effective. Let me put it to the 0. And next we have twist option. So always use this twist option when you have a half torus or a quarter torus. If you have a complete circular torus, then do not use this twist button. Okay, this twist will twist like this. It will create twisting, and for this you need a segments. So as you increase your segment, your twisting will be that much smoother. Okay, now we have smoothing options over here. Let me decrease this twist and let me go with the 4 segments or 5 segments. Okay, now see, just focus on this. We have smoothing options with the 4 options over here. First is smooth all. That means when you render this, you will not get any sharp edges over here. See, we are not having sharp edge over here and we are not having sharp edge over here also. Focus on this both position. Only these 2 position you have to see. Okay. Now next option is smooth sides. That means your sides is only going to smooth. Again shift Q. So as you all can see, our sides are smooth. Let me choose one more other option, segment option. Sorry, sides. Yes, I was thinking that why we are not getting any proper effect. So as you can see, we have this is our side. This circular cross section is our side, and we are not having any sharp edge over here, but we are having a sharp edge on this circular profile. Okay. Similarly, if you want the opposite, then use this segment option. So your this line will be sharp, but this will not provide you a sharp content in your image. See, we are having a sharp edge over here, but we are not having a sharp edge over here. And if you want a none, means both you want sharp, so you will get like this. So we these are the options we have in the torus or in the twist profile. And one more thing, when you have a complete torus and if you are going to twist that, then your one segment will be broken like this. See, we have twisted this torus, but this segment is not properly connected, because whenever you are using a complete circular profile, this option will create some problem with your elements, right? So never use twist profile when you have a full torus. Okay, next we have pyramid. It is quite simple. We have square and height, nothing else. Length, width, depth and height, and also segments. We have no more options in the pyramid, right? So it's a quite simple object. Then we have plane option. So click on plane, and you can create a plane like this. We can use this plane as a floor also. Okay. Or we can create a terrain also with the help of this plane, that ups and downs like hills and depths and all. And these are the segments. So go to the modify. Here is the length, here is the width and the length segment and width segment. Nothing else we have. And lastly, we have a teapot, and you can use this teapot for many reasons. See, this teapot having four different objects. So select it and go to the modify radius and number of segments. Just increase as per your requirement. And here we have four objects. See, body, handle, spout and lid. So if you just turn on this body, you will get one cup. You can use this object as a cup. If you put handle on, then this is your teacup. Then if you turn off this handle and put this lid, so this is our jar, right? So we can use this as a jar. And if you turn all these option on, then it's a teapot. So in this way we can use this single object for many reasons, and we can modify it also. So I hope all these standard primitives options are clear now. Do you have any query up to this point? Oh, no, no. So are you enjoying this session or you are getting bored? Okay. So we have a couple of questions over here. How to create contours? So we are not going to create any contour right now. Then we have how did we select this viewport? So just press Alt plus W. See Alt W to maximize and minimize your viewport. Okay. Text plus is a new option that will be that was added for you in the newer version. With the help of text plus, you can create text. Okay, nothing new is there. Just you can create some text. And in this software, we can create that text with this text button. Just type your text and place. And then I need to extrude using modifications. So this type of same effect you will get with the with that option, text plus. From here, turn on this edge faces option so you can view these edges. Okay. If you don't have realistic, you can use shaded also. Shaded is also fine. Our session is not finished yet. We have one more topic to discuss. This text tool we have in our next class. So I just one question I have. So I just explain you. But this is in our second day's session. Okay. So we'll discuss over there. Okay, so now let me continue our session. We have one last topic remaining, that is transformation. And let me again maximize our viewport, Alt W. And now we have transformation. And again we have shortkeys for that. See, let's have one box. Okay. Now, for example, I want to translate this object. I want to move this object. So you can use this move, select and move button. Here we have select and move. Then we have select and rotate. And we have select and scale. Okay. So you can grab it from here. Click on select and move. And now when you select your object, you will get a translation arrows over here. Transformation arrows. So with the help of this arrow, you can translate your object. For example, I want to move this in negative x. So just grab this arrow and you can translate it. Yes, I will give you assignment. I will show you at the end of this session, and that will also mail you by our team. Okay. So this is our transformation move. You can translate in individual direction. For example, if you grab your object from these faces, see, when you select this single arrow, you can translate only in that direction. When you select this square, this bigger square, then you can translate in x and y both. Okay, these both axes are selected. When you select from z direction, you can translate in z direction also. But I, for example, I want to translate in z and x both, then we have to select from here. So now we can translate in x and z in both direction. And for example, you want to translate this object or you want to move this object in all three direction randomly, then grab it from this center. So if you hold it from the center, then you can go anywhere in this entire viewport. Okay, so these are the three options. Generally we prefer individual translation in x, y and z, or we prefer two directional translation x, y, y, z or zx. Yes, we can move in minus z direction. Just grab your z direction, and in this way you can move in the z positive and z negative. Then next we have select and rotate. So if you go with this select and rotate, you will get a three circular profile over here. For example, I want to rotate this object along the x. So in this way you can rotate. If you want to rotate it with some proper angle, that you can provide over here on the bottom, x, y and z we have. For example, 90-degree rotation I want in the x direction. So see, this is rotated. 0, again straight. Similarly we have y, let's say 45. So it's a 45-degree rotated in y direction. 0 again. So this is our rotation. And last option we have is the scaling. So click on scale, and here we have scale. So here again we have three options for the scaling purpose. Right now it's 100% scale in all x, y and z. Okay, for example, I am just selecting this x and dragging that, so it will scale only in x direction. Similarly, if I grab this y, I am going to stretch, so it will scale only in y direction. And same for the z. Okay, but for example, I want to scale this object in x and y two direction. So you have to hold your object from here. See this bar, we have this yellow selected portion. So grab it from here, and then you can scale uniformly your object in two direction. See, our height is not increasing. Okay, so this is our single directional scale. This is our two directional scale. And if you hold it from the center, then it will your overall scale. Your entire object will increase and decrease in your size. So these are the transformation: move, rotate and scale. And we have a shortcut for that. For the move, you can press W. So see, we have select and move highlighted. When you press R, it will be select and rotate. And when you press R for the scaling. So W for move, E for rotate and R for scale. Okay, all these three keys are in sequence in your keyboard. W, E, R. Select your object, press W, so it's a move, press E for rotate and press R for scaling. W, E, R. So keep these shortkeys in your mind. So that's it for our today's session. And now I'm sharing you one assignment. Actually, just showing you one assignment. Just a minute. So can you see this screen, this word file? Okay. So in this assignment, you just have to create these types of simple objects, okay, that we discussed. And you don't need to assign any types of material, just create this type of object and arrange like this, okay. And who don't have that software right now installed, so don't worry, just try to install your software and then you can submit your assignment, okay. So don't worry about that, but install your software as soon as possible, because without practice you are going to vanish. This all these things will going to remove erased from your mind, okay. So you have to practice it. So I hope you all enjoyed this session. Now if you have any question, then you can unmute and ask me, or you can type in a chat box. Yes, the software size is quite bigger, so it may be 8.6 GB. Yes. Rendering option, repeat, okay. So rendering shortkeys shift plus q, okay. You just press shift and q, your scene will be rendered. When you upload this session, we will upload this session as soon as possible. It may be you will get in tomorrow morning. We will upload that in tonight. You will get tomorrow morning in the YouTube channel, in our YouTube channel. Grid line hide and unhide, just press G in your keyboard and you can hide and unhide your grid lines. Repeat shortkeys. Okay, just a minute. I am repeating the shortkeys. So Alt W for the maximize and minimize your viewport. Okay. Then select, then W for the move, E for the rotation, and R for the scaling. WER. Okay. And Alt W, as you all know. Then mouse controls, just middle mouse button for the panning and zoom in, zoom out, and Alt plus middle mouse button for the orbiting purpose. You have to submit this assignment on this mail ID that will be written on your assignment. That is 3dsmax dot at gmail.com. It will be written. Everything is written on your assignment. Just send your 3ds max file, attach in the Google, sorry, in your mail, and mail it, okay. So I hope you all enjoyed this session. Okay, last date of submission tomorrow midnight, okay. Everything, all the instructions is written in the assignment. Just practice it. That is enough for us, okay. So you just practice it, and whatever you have created you can mail us. Thank you. Okay, so see you on the next session, Friday. So I'm going to end this call now. Okay. Bye.